Okay, I think we're good to go. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this special announcement by Serba Dinamik. We truly appreciate members of the press for making time to be here today, even with the MCO restrictions. To people and members of the press joining us online via Zoom or YouTube live streaming, thank you for attending. We appreciate it. We will begin today's proceedings with a dua recital by Ustaz Nizamuddin Ahmad.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Bersama-sama kita membaca umul kitab, memohon kepada Allah Subhanahu wa taala mudah-mudahan PC pada petang ini diberkati oleh Allah Subhanahu wa taala. Al-Fatihah. A'udzubillahi minasyaitonir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi alamin arrahmanir rahim maliki yaumiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in ihdinas siratal mustaqim siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghairil maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin. Amin. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Hamdan yuwafi ni'amahu wa yudafi'u niqamahu wa yukafi'u mazidah. Ya Rabbana lakal hamd kama yanbaghi li jalali wajhikal karimi wa 'azimi sultanik. Allahumma salli wa sallim wa barik ala sayyidina Muhammad salatan turdika wa turdih wa tarda biha 'anna maulana ya rabbal alamin. Ya Allah, ya Tuhan kami memohon kepadamu keberkatan taufik dan hidayahmu sempena majlis sidang akhbar khas pengurusi lembaga pengarah Serba Dinamik Holdings Berhad di petang yang berbahagia ini. Allahumma inna nas'aluka al-'afwa wal-'afiyah wa nas'aluka tamamal 'afiyah wa nas'aluka dawamal 'afiyah wa nas'aluka syukra 'ala al-'afiyah wa nas'aluka al-ghina 'anil nas wa hab lana haqiqatal iman bik hatta la nakhafa la narju ghairak wa la na'budu syai'an siwak. Ya Allah, kami memohon kepadamu keampunan dan kesejahteraan. Kami memohon kepadamu kesempurnaan dalam kesejahteraan. Kami memohon kepadamu berkekalan dalam kesejahteraan. Kami memohon kepadamu rasa syukur dengan nikmat kesejahteraan. Ya Allah, ya Tuhan kami, anugerahkanlah kami hakikat beriman denganmu. Tiada Tuhan yang berhak disembah dengan sebenarnya melainkan-Mu, ya Allah. Sehingga kami tiada rasa takut dan harap selain-Mu, dan hanya kepada-Mu sahajalah kami mengabdikan diri. Allahumma aslih lana dinana allazi huwa ismatu amrina, wa aslih lana dunyana allati fiha ma'ashuna, wa aslih lana akhiratana allati ilaiha ma'aduna, waj'alil hayata ziyadatan lana fi kulli khair, waj'alil mauta rahatan lana fi kulli syarr. Ya Allah, ya Tuhan kami, perbaikilah urusan dunia kami yang menjadi tempat kehidupan kami mencari kurniaan-Mu. Perbaikilah urusan akhirat kami yang menjadi tempat kami kembali yang abadi. Jadikanlah kehidupan kami di dunia sebagai bekalan amal yang baik yang sentiasa bertambah. Jadikanlah kematian kami nanti kerehatan daripada segala sebarang keburukan. Rabbana atina min ladunka rahmah wa hayyi lana min amrina rasyada. Ya Allah, ya Tuhan kami, kurniakanlah kepada Serba Dinamik Holdings Berhad dari sisi kasih sayang-Mu itu, petunjuk-Mu dalam segala urusannya. Ya Hayyu ya Qayyum, peliharalah, ya Allah, Serba Dinamik Holdings Berhad dari sebarang perkara yang tidak diingini dengan redha-Mu jua. Ya Allah, ya Tuhan kami, jadikanlah Serba Dinamik Holdings Berhad ini maju jaya dalam persaingan mengurus tadbir kurniaan-Mu di dunia ini, untuk kami kembalikan manfaatnya buat agama, bangsa dan negara Malaysia tercinta dan seluruh umat Nabi-Mu, kekasih-Mu Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ya latifan bi khalqih, ya aliman bi khalqih, ya khabiran bi khalqih. Ultuf bina, ya latif, ya alim, ya khabir. Ya latifan lam yazal, ultuf bina fima nazal. Innaka latifun lam tazal, ultuf bina wal muslimin. Rabbana asrif 'anna al-bala wal ghala wal waba wal fahsya ma zahara minha wa ma batan. Ya Allah, ya Tuhan kami, hindarilah kami semua daripada segala bencana, bahaya penularan wabak, penyakit khususnya COVID-19, suasana kehidupan yang tidak tertanggung, fenomena yang keji, keadaan yang terlalu buruk dan tidak terkawal kesannya. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم اجعل جمعنا هذا جمعا مرحوما وتفرقنا من بعد تفرقا مباركا معصوما، ولا تجعل فينا ومن معنا شقيا ولا مطرودا ولا محروما برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. وصلى الله على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين. تقبل الله منكم.
Thank you, Ustad. Right. Once again, thank you so much for being with us here today. Allow me to introduce the three individuals at the front. First, we have Datuk Mohamed Ilyas Pakeer Mohamed, Chairman of Serba Dinamik Holdings Berhad, right in the middle. Next to me is Datuk Dr. Engineer T.S. Mohd Karim Abdullah, Group Managing Director and Group CEO of Serba Dinamik Holdings Berhad. Last but not least, we have Tan Sri Datuk Sri Dr. Muhammad Shafi'i Abdullah, the official solicitor and legal consultant for Serba Dinamik Holdings Berhad. Ladies and gentlemen, as we are all aware, there has been a lot of news and rumors circulating about Serba Dinamik in the past few months, coming from different sources. Therefore, it is of utmost importance that Serba Dinamik gets to tell their side of the story. So today we will be addressing all these questions and rumors directly from the board, the management, and the legal team. Now there will be a Q&A session after all three panelists have given their remarks. We will start with questions from the floor, followed by questions from our audience online. So if you're joining us online, you can submit your questions on the chat box, or you can also choose to ask the questions live. So how do you do it? If you want to ask your questions live, please click on the raise hand icon at the bottom of the panel, and do turn on your camera when you ask the questions. Without further ado, I'd like to welcome Datuk Mohamed Ilyas to give his opening remarks. Datuk.
Thank you, Cynthia. Pengerusi Majlis. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan salam sejahtera. Yang berbahagia Tan Sri Shafi'i Abdullah, our solicitor and advisor for Serba Dinamik Group of companies. Datuk Karim, Managing Director and CEO, Board of Directors, members of the media, shareholders, internal and external. Welcome to this press conference. Before I start, in the past 2 weeks, I think, you have seen a lot of stories about Serba Dinamik, and most of it are speculation. It's not really addressing the truth. And what happened was KPMG, who was our auditor, has negligently red flagged some trivial issues which doesn't even affect the bottom line of the company or even the turnover of the company, and for whatever reason have blown the issue out of proportion. And as a result of that, the shareholders, internal and external, suffered a loss. We had a market capitalization loss of about 3 billion ringgit, which is not small for a oil and gas firm. Is big in numbers. And our solicitor here, the Tan Sri Shafi'i, will explain to you on the details of it. But I think we have, since we came on board, I'm a new chairman, we came on board, and we had deliberated through many meetings in a short span, and discovered that a lot of news and a lot of whatever is being around has been not true. And we decided that whatever red flag which is raised by KPMG should be taken up legally. and the board has deliberated, and we have decided to take legal action on KPMG. Legal action not because of the company is not doing well. We are doing very well with 18 billion ongoing contracts, 6 billion turnover, and more than profit in excess of 1 billion. The company is healthy, but the way the auditors, the external auditors, portray the company as though there is a lot of inappropriate things that has been happening. So to us, to me, as a new chairman of the company, I think we have to take action on whoever who start this red flag. And on top of that, to give confidence to the investors, we are here to explain to you whatever questions you have. I am new, but in the short span, I've learned a lot of things. But Datuk Karim, as a founder of this company, CEO and managing director, will and should be able to answer all your questions, inshallah. So I think before we go further, I think I would pass it on to Tan Sri Shafi'i to start briefing the press. Please, Tan Sri.
Good evening, and Assalamualaikum to everyone. The company have decided just a few days ago at a board meeting, after being briefed fully by the legal team, in particular me, to take action, legal action against KPMG for negligence and for breach of contract, and lastly for breach of statutory duty. Now, we have taken many anxious moments to consider this route, but finally the board have decided that a suit against KPMG is the most viable and the most justified thing to do in view of the circumstances of the case. Now, we have filed the action very early this morning. We wanted to do it last night, but we were told that there was some period of time that the opening of the registration by way of online was closed. So we did it early this morning. And this morning itself, we had served on KPMG a copy of the writ as well as a statement of claim. Now, because the court documentation has not been officially sealed, although it has been filed, it will not be ethical for me to give a copy to everyone. So I would be here to answer your questions based on the little or rather extract that I will tell you what the suit is all about. Now, in crafting this statement of claim, I found that, based of course on the instructions given by the company management as well as relevant directors, that the issues raised by KPMG were not huge. They were issues that ordinarily could have been resolved if KPMG had resorted to the usual method of meeting with the clients, raising the issues one by one, no matter how many. In this case, there are not so many, and to see whether the client would be able to answer every one of these issues raised. Now, I found that there was, based again on instruction, I found there was a failure in adopting the correct process of doing the audit, over and above the substantive issues, whether or not the matters that the KPMG has sort of red flagged, whether they were justified to begin with to be red flagged. I found, based on instruction, that there were no substantive grounds to red flag the company on those issues. So we have taken the matter to the court. I'm expecting favorable result. Of course, the suit that we have maintained and filed this morning pray for substantial sums of damages, because as you can appreciate from what the Datuk Chairman have said, the market capitalization itself dropped by about 3 billion. So this is a direct result of the unreasonable red flagging of the issues by KPMG, which resulted directly in the Security Commission and perhaps even Bursa in acting the way they did. In the case of Security Commission, they acted purely on what KPMG said or reported, and they have raided the premises of this company. Again, quite unreasonably and based on no serious facts that can be acted upon by any enforcement agency. Now, these are the basis and the, if I may say, in general terms, what you will find in the cause papers against KPMG. So it is the company, Serba Dinamik Holdings Berhad itself versus KPMG. And we want the matter to proceed as quickly as possible. As soon as the COVID period is over, I'm sure we'll hear a lot more from the court. I do not want to say anything more, but I'm here to listen to your questions, and I will answer if you direct any questions towards me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tan Sri. Next, I'd like to invite Datuk Karim to give his remarks.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh, and salam sejahtera, of course, to all the attendees of today's event. I'm here to stand as a shareholder of Serba Dinamik Holdings Berhad, and of course holding the full responsibility for the trust of the shareholders and of course stakeholder, plus all the other relevant parties which has entrusted myself and also a team to run the company in accordance to what the governance calls for. And I reiterate the statements that we have done nothing wrong. The company have very strong fundamentals, and we hope that this announcement after this will put the company into a position, what we call it as business as usual. We have a lot of prospects which we are working on, and there are a lot of other ongoing projects, not only domestic but also internationally. And I would say that the positions of the company at the moment has reached quite a very successful level, in which we are talking to quite a number of government of the days of respective country, which is actually looking at our expertise, our track records, and also the capabilities that we have put forward over to them. I would like to take this opportunity to thank, of course, Dr. Mohamed Ilyas for his willingness to come in to take the chairmanship of Serba Dinamik Holdings Berhad. And we strongly believe that with his experience and also his knowledge and extensive network that he has built over those extensive entrepreneur journey they have undergone, will help the company to face all these challenges in a very effective manner. And of course, I'm very thankful also to Tan Sri Shafi'i, who is willing to come in to take up this particular important case to move the company forward and to assist the company to go back to what I mentioned earlier, business as usual. So with that, I would like to close these initial statements representing one of the major shareholders of the company, and also the responsibility and trust of all the other parties that I've mentioned to ensure that the investment and the money that all these parties has put into the company will be maintained, sustained, and get the necessary returns as what has been promised. Thank you.
Thank you, Datuk Karim. Thank you, Tan Sri and Datuk Ilyas. We will start our Q&A session soon, but with that, we will be ending our live session only for the YouTube platform. So for those who are joining us via Zoom, please get your questions ready. And I'd like to thank all our audience joining us from YouTube. Okay. Okay. All right. Now we will proceed to the Q&A session. Just a quick reminder to those joining us online, if you have questions, please put it in the chat box. Otherwise, if you'd like to ask the questions in, well, live, not in person live, but do raise your hand.
Untuk COVID menjangkit kita.
Untuk tempoh 2 minggu ini duduk di rumah. Kalau kita boleh laksanakan KKP Kendiri dan keluarga,
saya kira insya-Allah kita boleh berjaya. Akhirnya kita menang.
Perang COVID-19 masih belum berakhir. Dalam kita berusaha memutuskan rantaian wabak ini, kita jangan terpedaya dengan virus maklumat palsu. Simak fakta melalui www.astroawani.com atau aplikasi Astro Awani. Teruskan berdisiplin, ratakan lengkungan pandemik ini.
The third wave of COVID-19 has taken us by storm. There's no room to take anything lightly. Everyone must follow all the steps to stop the spread of COVID-19. Social distancing, face mask, follow these steps, this SOP with the utmost discipline. Together, we can flatten the curve.
Kini berwajah baru.
Ini pula susulan khas pesawat Back Air di Kazakhstan. Pesawat berkenaan dilaporkan tergelincir 2 kali.
Notifikasi berita terkini dan navigasi mudah. Podcast dikemas kini dengan berita dan program.
Rebirth, Reformasi, Resistance and Hope.
Serta video tanpa had dengan scroll tanpa henti. Buat turun aplikasi baru Astro Awani sekarang.
Semua yang terjadi adalah berita, tetapi tiada siapa yang boleh bawakan yang terkini dan tergempar seperti kami.
Dilihat hanya memberi wang tanpa matlamat yang tepat. Dia tidak melakukan apa-apa kesalahan.
Untuk mendapatkan jawapan yang bermakna, kita perlu soalan yang tepat.
Amat sedih dengan apa yang berlaku kat atas.
Tiada ruang untuk berita palsu.
Negara kita telah merekodkan kes harian baru sebanyak
hanya fakta yang diberikan.
Amat penting untuk meneruskan perjuangan negara melawan pandemik ini.
Sentiasa memastikan suara anda, suara rakyat didengari.
Kenapa?
Membawakan apa yang penting di mana sahaja anda berada.
Kerana kita hendak putuskan rantaian jangkitan.
Belanjawan dan pendekatan bertemakan survival ini secara keseluruhan.
Teruskan bersama kami, Astro AWANI, saluran berita yang paling dipercayai rakyat Malaysia.
News is a constant. Whatever the time, wherever you are, it will reach you. What's key are its credibility and accuracy. Without bias, with context covering all angles. This is what you'll get on AWANI tonight. We'll brief you the news and views of the day that matter, all in 15 minutes. Weekdays at 9:45 p.m. only on Astro AWANI.
Perang COVID-19 tetap belum berakhir. Pastikan setiap langkah berjaga-jaga diamalkan, dari kebersihan tangan, pemakaian pelitup muka, penjarakan fizikal. Kesemuanya amat penting untuk pastikan pandemik ini dibendung.
Fokus kita sekarang adalah gelombang ketiga. Elakkan 3S, iaitu kawasan yang sesak, sempit dan juga bersembang pada jarak yang dekat. Berdisiplinlah kerana virus ini tidak mengira darjat, umur mahupun latar belakang anda. Tiada masa untuk kita berlengah lagi.